All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. As you can probably tell from the intro, today is all about the Sportsman AutoPilot 120. So when we moved from Washington, I sold the boat just to make the trip easier. You know, if I was being honest, I regret it a little bit, but it did make the trip easier, so it is what it is. But we got some kayaks for everyone, and today we're going to talk about mine a little bit. Pure fishing kayak, obviously. It's a 12-foot kayak, I think they weigh like 168. So it is a bit of a bear to get into some of these ponds where I got to lift it over a guardrail, but I feel pretty good at that. At 50 years old, I can still hoist this thing over a guardrail and get it in and out of the truck relatively easily. So, I'll tell you, it's fun to fish out of. You've seen a few videos, but a couple of things I really like about it. The space that you have, not just to stand up, but in the back tank well for storage is fantastic. So, it has plenty of room for the things that I need. You've got track mounts on the front, track mounts on the back. You can add more wherever you want to put up all your accessories and whatever else you want to do. So super convenient. It's got a really nice dry box where you can store, anything you don't want to get wet. And I have found so far no moisture gets in there at all, so it's fantastic. I use it to hold my, tools, scale, remote when I'm not on the water, things like that. So it's pretty darn cool. I've got my remote mounted on a GoPro mount on the rail. You can buy a dedicated mount for it, but I had this, so I figured I might as well just use it. And then I've got a tether strapped to the top handle in case, the mount breaks off or something and the remote falls in the water, I don't lose it. Really cool spot there. And it makes the kayak truly hands-free, right? So I'm not holding on to the remote all the time. I don't have to have it dangling off my neck. It just bugs me when it does that. So mounting it there really solved that problem for me. And when we talk about hands-free fishing, there's a couple of things with this kayak that just set it apart. So on the front, you've got the Minn Kota power drive with spot lock. You've got foot pedals and a rudder in the back. So you can literally just point this trolling motor straight, steer left or right with your feet while you're fishing. Super convenient. But you've also got the north heading sensor, so you can just put it on point it at a target and it'll take you there. You can just fish along the way. And then of course, everyone knows spot lock, but being able to pull up to a spot where you see fish, hit the anchor lock button, and it'll keep you within about a 5-foot circle. Just makes your life so much easier, especially in the wind. I found in the other rig that I was using just in these little ponds, it was just impossible to fish out of. It was uncomfortable, hard to control. It just wasn't a ton of fun. So this kind of brought the fun back. I think the camera overheated, so anyways. So we'll just go through kind of how I have it rigged up. I've got a Lowrance Eagle Eye 9. That is the all-in-one transducer with downscan, mapping, and active target. Same active target resolution for the active target 2 that's on, the high-end units. We were overheating a little bit, so it keeps shutting off. I had it out in the sun, probably shouldn't do that. But to get back to the active target I was talking about. So the active target that comes with the Eagle Eye 9 is basically the same as active target 2 minus the number of beams. And I'll walk you through that later on in a different video to kind of show you how that shows up on the screen of the unit. It cuts off a little bit right at the front and behind the boat, so you don't quite get all of the visual. A couple of the other things on this before the camera shuts off again, it's kind of getting annoying. Seat tips up. You've got battery storage and a little bit more storage space underneath there. I mounted a switch on the inside well for the head unit so I can shut it off or on independently. Again, plenty of storage in the tank well. I've just got a box back here with some rod mounts to it. Fill it full of tackle, plastics, good to go for the day. Paddle holder on the side. It's always important to keep that with you. But overall, I love it. And the only thing I don't is the weight. It's heavy. And I talked about that earlier. It's heavy. I can get about 5 miles an hour with trolling motor on the water. Thinking about goofing around and putting another one on the back. I probably won't, but I'm thinking about it. Maybe when I get a single kayak trailer that I can just drive it up onto in the water, I'll do it. But for now, we'll just leave it how it is. I have another transit mount trolling motor that's wireless. That would be perfect for it. We'll see down the road if that works out. But like I was saying, super comfortable, fun to fish out of, and just a blast to get out in the water and film again. You know, I've got a camera mount pole for the back of the kayak that I made. That has worked out fantastically. Stable. I run power to a Jackery box, and that can give me power for multiple days on the water. So really slick to power the GoPro. I put the Jackery box in this box. I've got a port that I put in to run the USB wires through to hook up. Keeps the Jackery out of the sun, keeps it from overheating. And then here in a few minutes, I'll kind of walk you through, you know, some of those areas I was talking about in the kayaks. You can kind of get an up close and personal look of it. But again, thanks for watching. Really enjoy seeing the channel grow so much over the course of the past couple of weeks. I have devoted a lot of time, found a lot of time just to get something up on the channel. And it's really great to see it starting to pay off. Over the course of the last, about 10 days, we've gotten, I don't know, about 20,000 views, which is awesome. We're getting closer and closer to that monetization mark, and just thanks for everything you're doing for the channel. The likes, the comments, the shares are helping a ton. So again, thanks so much. All right, so we'll get into like the specifics on it, right? So back tank well, you've got your rudder system here that you steer with your feet up front that I was talking about earlier. I made this box. I didn't make the box. I bought the box. It's actually a chair for like a beach type situation, but I use it as just a storage box. I popped a couple of screws in the hinge over here, so you can just pop this open and lift it up from the back, and you've got all your tackle in there. And then on the back side of it, I mounted some rod holders, so I can put 6 rods on that, plus 2 rear facing in these rod holes. And then you've also got 2 up front, which I use for tools, stuff like that. I usually have one open for a rod when I'm taking a fish off or something. Seat, super comfortable. What I don't like about it is it kind of sits, back at an angle. And they do make seat risers to get this up just a little bit, so I'm certainly going to do that. It'll make it a little easier for my old butt to get in and out of. But then behind the seat, or under the seat I should say, is where your battery box is. So I've got my 50 amp hour lithium battery in here. That runs both my graph and my trolling motor, and more than enough to get through a day. And still have, I could probably get through 2 days if I'm being honest. Got some access to the inside down here, so I've got my wires run. Right here, I've got a switch. I'll turn it on so you can see the light. I don't have it. I don't have the kill switch in, so it won't light up. But that little toggle switch over there is independent on-off power for my graph. I'll show you that here in just a second. I just wanted a way to turn that on and off independently rather than the power button up front, just to cut the power to it. when I needed to. This thing just unlocks and pops up. It's kind of hard to get with one hand, so I'm not going to do it, but I guess you could use it for storage if you wanted to, but I just use it for access to the wiring that I run through. And then for the graph, I've got the wiring run through that hole there, and a jacketed cord that goes up into another hole that I put in the battery box, and then put those little rubber waterproof grommets on all those so that no water gets in there. Move my fingers. Here, this is the dry box I was talking about. Just tools, scale, keep the kill switch in there, all that stuff. Keep my phone, wallet, all of that dry while I'm out on the water. Nice little latch to shut it. This is where I've got my remote mounted. And you can see it's just on a adhesive GoPro mount, but it works really slick in order to be able to just keep my hands free. The seat does have a strap in the back to keep it from popping up when you're fishing. I would suggest you use it because you just don't get underneath there while you're fishing. I mean, I guess if you have something rigged up where you could, but I just keep it strapped. It keeps that seat from flopping around. You've got two different seat adjustments here. You can put it down below or up in the higher notch. I'll tell you, having it up in the higher notch is way more comfortable. Got the hog trough, just sits right there, doesn't move around, doesn't bounce out of place. Great spot to access it if you're fishing those online tournaments. I don't know if that's what it was made for, but it sure works well. Got the foot controls, and that's what moves your rudder left and right. You can adjust these forward and backwards to however you're comfortable. Kill switch area right down there. It's just a little switch. I'll show you. Rather than just talk about it, I'll show you what it is. That's your kill switch. So you can see that little silver deal there. It is a prop pin for your trolling motor, so you get an extra one of those. And then this doubles as a prop wrench. I'm going to put the camera down and I'll show you how to use it in case you were wondering. Let's see if I can just set this down here and still see the prop. Yeah, you can still see it kind of. Anyways, you just take the kill switch and you stick it over the little nut there, hold the prop, give it a turn, and then so that you keep the pin from falling out, it has a little, let's see if I can show you that. It has a little indicator here to show you where level is, so that if you have it upside down, that prop pin doesn't fall out. And so you can just wiggle that and pull it off. I was just out yesterday and hadn't had a chance to get the weeds out, so you can see I've got a bunch of weeds on the inside of this, and apparently some fishing line, which is not great. So we're gonna have to cut that out later on. I'll leave that off. You don't want to get too much fishing line in there. It can get inside that seal and wreck it. So it's really good to make sure that you're checking this thing after every outing. Some of these ponds out here, well, most of these ponds out here are incredibly weedy. And that's the beauty of this one. And one thing that I really like, when you're on the water, you can just, that'll sit down. You can just let that lift back up, clear your weeds. If you need to pull your prop, you can pull your prop, get the trolling motor back in and keep going. Plug there. A lot of people hate them. I'm indifferent. Goes in easy, comes out easy. Using dielectric grease, shouldn't have any issues. Here's the leash I've got attached to the remote, so if it does fall off, it is attached to the boat. I can get it back. Got some red and green nav lights, just in case. Come around to the other side. This is the Lowrance Elite 9, or Eagle Eye 9, sorry. Let me get the Lowrance Eagle Eye 9. It's a good little unit, 9-inch. It's got down scan, forward live, down live, mapping, all that. So pretty slick. And then this is the pole I made to mount my live scope to, or active target, I guess I gotta get used to saying that. And this is just a little handle to turn it. It's got plenty of tension on it, and it works really, really slick. And then when I'm not using it, I can just fold it up. Maybe, since that thing's in the way there. There we go. You can just fold it up out of the way when you're transporting it. I usually just take it off and put it in the kayak. It's just easier that way. I don't have to worry about popping the pin in and out. Got all the cords zip tied together and just tucked down in here. And then this here is where you lower and release your trolling motor. It's got a couple of cup holders, both sides. I use one for drink holder, one for, you know, soft plastics and baits that I'm changing throughout the day so that they don't go in the water. Handle to deploy and stow your rudder in the back. Again, the rod holder's mounted on the side of this, just some PVC and a piece of wood screwed in. Works fine. And then your rear track mounts. That's it. It's a whole kayak. Take it back here. This is where you can, it's a factory plate to install a power pole micro, which I definitely see in my future. I think it'd be pretty slick to have. And then this is where I screw in my camera mount. So yeah, tons of fun. Really enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys out on the water. Tight lines.